A name that's been thrown out there for the Florida job already is Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, though, is going to Norman, Oklahoma this upcoming Saturday. Ole Miss going to Oklahoma, the BetMGM game of the week, baby. Oklahoma favored by 4.5 at the crib. All right, Oklahoma, that's the whole point of this thing, man. Protect the crib. You got a gauntlet in front of you. At Tennessee, at Bama, Missouri, LSU. This is the SEC. Heck, you pledged, didn't you? Now, Oklahoma has a rather harsh draw when it comes to their SEC schedule, but this is what you signed up for. When you got that news on your phone during SEC Media Days, hey, Oklahoma, Texas, head to the SEC. This is that stretch that you are now signed up for. Welcome to the party. Take care of home field if you want to make the college football playoff. That starts this weekend, obviously, with Ole Miss rolling in there. Now, for Ole Miss, this is kind of a metal tester, I think, for Coach Kiffin and the boys, because they looked awesome against Georgia. Up 9 in the second half against the Dogs. Are you kidding me? Now, you dropped that game, and that hurts every part of your soul. But if you play that well against Georgia at their place, what else could you accomplish? It's a fair question to ask. But here's the thing. College football is a weird game with a funny-shaped ball with 18 to 22-year-olds playing the sport. There's a high degree of variance, but there's a lower degree of variance for the elite teams. So Ole Miss, if you want to be an elite team, you reset accordingly. The Georgia game, as good as we played, it sucks to lose. We flush that. We move forward. We play our best ball against Oklahoma. It's going to take your best ball against Oklahoma to win the game. Spoiler alert. Oklahoma, I think they're going to be able to run the football against Ole Miss. I think it'll be more paper cuts than full-on severing off limbs. But what I saw against South Carolina gives me a little bit of hope. Torrey Blaylock, over 100 yards. That's big time for the Sooners. I've been begging for that on this show for a one John Mateer. Because if you can give John Mateer a run game, the whole menu is open. The quarterback run game is open. Off of that, passing game downfield. And Ole Miss, I'm not going to do the whole thing where I talk about science and their 3 true down linemen and all that. I'm just going to say they're allowing 5 yards a carry, and Georgia went for 200 yards against them. Now, Ole Miss is not Georgia. That's the good news for Ole Miss. Or Oklahoma, rather. It's not Georgia. That's the good news for Ole Miss. However, I still think that with that design quarterback run game, what Gunnar Stockton got you on, John Mateer can get you and then some in that department. Which leads me to my next point. I kind of feel like John Mateer is about to have a day and a half against Ole Miss. Now, does that mean they win the football game? We'll talk about it later. But I feel like this is set up kind of like a luxury movie theater, if you catch my drift. You've been to those? It's got the recliner. You got the fine dining food, not just your popcorn, but you can order like a burger. You can order wings. You can get some libations. Like you can really have a time there on top of everything that comes with a movie theater if you go to one of those nice luxury movie theaters. That's what John Mateer has in front of him. He's already a great player. There's already the movie theater atmosphere here for him. You got a good film. You got the popcorn. You got your Slurpee. But to have the recliner of the run game, to have that defense at your back against that Ole Miss offense, like there's a lot here teed up for John Mateer. Also, Lawson Lucky had a day for Georgia at the tight end position. Jaron Kanik, at one point in time, was leading all of college football for receiving yards for a tight end. Like there is some real juice to be squeezed there when it comes to the Oklahoma offense. So I think there's a lot open for John Mateer to have a day. On top of all that, what I already said, what Gunnar Stockton did against that Ole Miss defense with his legs, John Mateer could duplicate and then some. So Oklahoma, John Mateer is going to have a big day. Also, he's healthier, you'd like to think, from week to week. I'm assuming that's the case. John Mateer, Taylor Green, and Gunnar Stockton both gashed Ole Miss. I think he can do the same. Now, for Trinidad Chambliss, I think he's going to have to win this game for Ole Miss from the pocket. And I'm not going to do the whole thing where we talk about he played D2 last year. How's he going to handle this? It's a tall task for any quarterback, whether you've played Division I football for 18 years like Diego Pavia or you're playing for your first year like Trinidad Chambliss is. It's a tall task to go against an Oklahoma defense. Like they are the number one team in America when it comes to sack rate, 14%. That is ridiculous that 14% of the snaps for Oklahoma are ending in sacks right now. That's one part. Also, they are leading America when it comes to first downs allowed is Oklahoma. So yeah, your work's cut out for you. But if Lenoris Sellers isn't able to shake and bake and get something going on the ground against that defense for South Carolina, I don't think Trinidad Chambliss will probably have as much ad-lib luck. Now, the good news, though, if you're an Ole Miss fan, Lane Kiffin, if there's one person I want calling my offense, he's probably a top 3 pick for me in the game plan draft across college football. And you watch what they did against Georgia. What was the thing that allowed them to have the most success? In my estimation, it was how quick Trinidad Chambliss got rid of the football. ESPN did that thing during the broadcast where they put the stopwatch on him and it was like 2 seconds every snap. That's got to be the way that you live in this spot. It's got to be ball out to Caden Lee, ball out to Stribling. And when that happens now, here's the big part of this. Yak. It's got to be yak. If I am in that building out there in Oxford and I'm a receiver, I am getting extra on everything this week. I'm taking 2 steps past the crosswalk. If I'm going to class, I am getting extra on my burrito bowl. I'm getting extra chicken. Extra is the name of the game here for Ole Miss, because I don't think this is a thing where you have a bunch of explosives downfield. I don't think Trinidad Chambliss will have that much time. But if you can get the ball out, puncture, as my old receiver coach would say, that's a point now where Ole Miss can start to pick up some momentum, play with tempo, get Oklahoma, ideally now, off their base, and big plays could happen in that way. So Trinidad Chambliss, it's going to be a from-the-pocket kind of game. He's more than capable of doing that. Do we see them be successful in that? Remains to be seen. Now, the styles between Lane Kiffin calling the offense with Coach Weiss and Brent Venables calling the defense for Oklahoma is going to be pyrotechnics, dude. I cannot wait to watch this, because we talk about Oklahoma defensively and how they operate with pressure a lot. I just told you, number 1 sack rate in America. One of the best run defenses in America. They are going to get after you in that front 7. It's pretty straightforward. So an answer to that, or what could be an answer to that, is what you saw South Carolina have a touch of success with, just a dash, a little bit of misdirection in the run game. And if you watch Ole Miss play ball, man, you know it is window dressing, it's eye candy. I mean, it's Willy Wonka's chocolate factory when it comes to things to look at pre-snap for that Ole Miss offense. That has to be something they have success in. Keywan Lacey, today's your day, brother. I need jet sweep action across. I need inside motion back the other way. I need some success in that jet sweep when we're actually giving the ball to a receiver going around the perimeter. And when that happens, when we get them to bite, I need you to gash them. I need that to happen for Ole Miss to be successful in this game. Because if you can get out the back door and increase that pressure, there's not a lot of defenders on the back end for Oklahoma to go catch you when you get out into that real estate. So that has to happen. But if you're not able to play a step ahead with that window dressing, it's going to get ugly, because the pressure they bring could blow some plays up at the mesh point. Worst case, tackle for a loss. Bad way to live if you're Ole Miss. So here's my thing. The spot for Ole Miss is something that we have already hit on a little bit, but just imagine where you're at right now as a player in that locker room in Oxford. I don't know this. I'm not in the building, so I'm just purely speculating here. But I have social media, much like all those players in that locker room have social media. All across Twitter this week, what are you seeing? Jersey swap, coaching swap gear graphics, rather, of Lane Kiffin wearing Florida gear, wearing a Florida visor. You're seeing the hashtag Kiffin into the swamp all over the place. How weird is that for a player in that locker room? Now that the job's officially open, everyone's talking about Kiffin to the swamp, Kiffin to Florida. How successful are you at blocking out that noise? On top of that, what I just said, you lost to Georgia in somewhat heartbreaking fashion. Felt like you should have won the game. I don't feel great about Ole Miss and what I've seen to this point now, their ability to handle spots. Because the Washington State game, Ole Miss should have blown the doors off Wazoo. Should have been a game where Trinidad Chambliss is drinking Gatorade for the duration of the second half. Instead, he's in a freaking dogfight at the end of that thing, hoping that they can get a stop to win that game. That, paired with the noise that's around Lane Kiffin right now, makes me feel a little bit leery about Ole Miss to be able to regroup and play their best ball on the road. Maybe if it was in Oxford, I'd feel different. But all that, plus it being a noon kick, you got to get up after traveling, like all those things. I like Oklahoma to win. I like John Machir to have a day. I like Oklahoma to cover. Final score now, 34-27. Sooners get it done at home and keep their own playoff hopes, very much so, intact, moving into the rest of their gauntlet in the SEC.